Ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Will Philo, #1, Scott Casey Gale, and today I am doing my first ever WWE SmackDown review on Wrestling Renegades 1 and my own channel, Will Philo #1, and it was a surprisingly good SmackDown. I'm surprised because WWE sucks, but it was actually a surprisingly good episode of SmackDown. Now let's begin with the recap, shall we? We go to the arena as Daniel Bryan's music hits, and he says yes, and he yeses his way to the ring. Bryan pauses in the middle of the ring as we get yes chants. He says on Monday something happened to him that hasn't happened in his 13 years. He has never had a match stopped due to an injury. He says when the doctor asked him if he was good, he said yes. He says they stopped the match because they think he is the weakest link and that he's not tough enough. Bryan sends to the video on the Titantron and says Orton is the biggest one at fault. We see as Orton shakes Bryan's hand at the end of the footage. Bryan says instead of waiting to have the match continue, Orton patted him on the head like a little dog with pity. Bryan says he will prove that he is not the weak link when he beats Randy Orton tonight. He goes up into a yes frenzy. Orton's music hits as he comes to the ring. Orton says Bryan has an hour walk. He says people were concerned for Bryan's well-being, and he respects the fact that Bryan just kept coming. Orton says that he put his arm around Bryan, not out of pity, but respect. Bryan isn't buying it, and he's still paranoid about being weak. Orton agrees to the match, but he says he will hurt Bryan tonight, and when it gets stopped, Bryan will get carried out. He says respect that and walks up to the ramp. Bryan shakes his head in the ring. Sheamus comes to the ring. We're back from a break as Cody Rhodes is in the ring and accompanied by Damien Sandow in a suit. Is he in the main event Mafia? And your commentators are Michael Cole and JBL. It is Sheamus versus Cody Rhodes. Winner by submission, Sheamus. Sheamus kicks Sandow from the apron and goes for the white noise, but Cody counters. Sheamus applies the cloverleaf for the win. Sandow immediately jumps in the ring and kicks Sheamus in the back of the head and unleashes a vicious assault on him. Sandow and Rhodes leave the ring with Sheamus laying Sandow, and Sheamus has a stare down across the ramp. As we go to page 2, Cole sends another white family vigilante. Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman make their way to the ring as we go to a commercial. Wade Barrett is in the ring as we return. Lillian Garcia makes the formal ring introductions. Nice touch. The Miz is on commentary. And it's Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman versus Wade Barrett for the Intercontinental Championship. Miz says he can smell the slime on Paul Heyman. Barrett hits another big kick to the head for 2. Wade goes for the second buckle and flies off, but Axel avoids the elbow. Axel hits 2 spinning neck breakers and gets the pin. Winner by pinfall and still Intercontinental Champion, Curtis Axel. Miz gets up in commentary and gets in the ring. Heyman takes the belt from Axel as Miz removes his jacket. Heyman backs Axel away from Miz, and they leave the ring. Paul can be heard saying that his client doesn't work for free. And we get a wild recap of Mark Henry's retirement, which was a very good segment. And this was an okay match. This is a pretty good match. Back in the arena, the new Divas champion AJ Lee makes a big entrance with Big E Langston. Natalia is in the ring as we return. We see footage of the AJ Caitlyn saga, no lip slip. Aww. AJ Lee versus Natalia. Winner by submission, AJ Lee. AJ bites Natalia's arm to free herself from her clutches and wins at the Black Widow as Natalia taps. Layla and Caitlyn react in the back. Oksana shows up and calls Caitlyn trash, and Caitlyn goes off on her. The other Divas have to take Caitlyn off and calm her. Chris Jericho makes entrance to the ring. Ricardo Rodriguez introduces our world champion Alberto Del Rio, and it's Chris Jericho versus Alberto Del Rio. Ricardo gets on the apron and Jericho puts the walls on him for the Lion Tamer style. As he taps, Dolph Ziggler hits the ring and attacks Del Rio. Sorry. And as we go to Chapter 3, winner by disqualification, Alberto Del Rio. Del Rio and Ricardo escape through the crowd. Jericho and Ziggler argue. Jericho hits him with the cold break and leaves. Del Rio and Ricardo come back to assault Ziggler. Del Rio knocks Ziggler out with a kick to the head. And it's Drew McIntyre and Finn Beyond in the ring, and who cares, as Christian is introduced. Christian versus Drew McIntyre. Heath Slater and Jinder Mahal get on the apron but are unable to distract Christian too long. Christian hits a kill switch in the ring for the win. Winner by pinfall, Christian. Christian grabs the mic in the ring and he says that after 10 long months, it feels good to be out in front of his peeps. He says he came back for one more match. The Shield's music hits and they attack from the normal entrance, not the usual crowd entrance. They surround the ring and maul Christian. They hit the triple powerbomb and stand over Christian. Then we get a Rob Van Dam video. Then we get a CM Punk and Paul Heyman recap from Payback. And the Brock Lesnar and CM Punk recap from Monday Night Raw. Renee Young gets comments from Paul Heyman in the back. He asks Renee about a relationship with her father. He brings up things about her fiancé and her breaking up. She looks hurt. Paul says CM Punk is his best friend and not his client, and it is personal, and he will not air out dirty laundry on TV. He tells us to ask him about Curtis Axel next time. Very good backstage segment. Paul Heyman is pure gold on the mic. I am proud to be a Paul Heyman guy. I wish he was the creative director of WWE. Randy Orton makes his entrance to the ring as Daniel Bryan has entered the ring and we return from a break. And it's Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. The bell rings and they waste no time going at it with intensity. They take turns with the mounted shots in the corners. Orton gets the first decided advantage with a suplex. Orton hits a couple of knees and leaps for another one, but Bryan moves and they grapple on the mat. Bryan tries to weaken the arm for the no-yes lock. Orton escapes the attempt and hangs Bryan out on the top rope. Orton tries a suplex from the apron to the floor, but Bryan counters. Orton gets the suplex. Bryan almost lands on his feet. Bryan is laid out on the floor. Back from a break with 8 minutes left in the show, Orton stops Bryan's strikes with a dropkick for 2. Orton puts Bryan up top and headbutts him. Orton goes up for a superplex, but Bryan blocks it and headbutts Orton down. Bryan hits a missile dropkick, and the ref counts both of them down. Bryan does a kip up and goes into a frenzy of offense. Bryan gets 2. Bryan screams that he is not the weak link as he unloads on Bryan. Orton snaps off a power slam and gets 2. Orton starts to get that look in his eyes. Bryan hits a backslide for 2. Bryan unloads with a yes kick for 2. Bryan goes up, but Orton meets him and makes him lose his balance. Orton measures Bryan for a shot to the face and hits a suplex, but only gets 2. Orton gets his ropes DDT. 3 minutes left in the show. Orton coils up, but Bryan rolls to the floor. Orton goes out and suplexes Bryan into the security wall. Bryan comes off the apron with a knee to Orton and gets back in the ring. The count for 6. Bryan flies back through the ropes with a dive onto Orton. The ref starts the count. Bryan makes it back in at 9. Orton makes it in after 10. Winner by count out, Daniel Bryan. Bryan grabs a mic and demands the match be restarted because he doesn't want a count out victory. The ref tells him no, but Bryan starts a yes chant as we go off the air. And it was a very good SmackDown. I actually enjoyed SmackDown. Even though that I still hate the WWE PG and I hate John Cena, I actually enjoyed SmackDown. It was surprisingly good. I give the SmackDown 4 stars and 2 thumbs up. Anyway, comment down below and tell me what you thought of SmackDown. Subscribe to Wrestling Renegades 1. Subscribe to my other channel, Will Feel #1. Subscribe to Kilbert's Wrestling Show 56. And be sure to check out Jacob McGovern's horror movie coming out Halloween 2015 entitled We Talk. Subscribe to Michael Miner. Subscribe to Godzilla Hawk. Subscribe to the Wrestling Goose. Subscribe to the Wrestling Goose Society. Subscribe to Chase Oliver 68. Subscribe to Bubba Dunn Funkin. Subscribe to Troy Davis. Subscribe to Attitude Era's Rules WWF 1. Anyway, you stay classy, YouTube viewers. Live long and prosper, and peace out.